This is Saul Canelo Alvarez. Danger. This is Terence Bud Crawford. Canelo versus Crawford is a true super fight. The clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez feels unreal. Relive the top highlights from Fight Week and hear what the experts predicted.
Hagler and Leonard and Duran and Tommy Hearns and those kind of fighters, and by the way, Sanchez and Gomez and the great fights from years ago. This is one of those, and you're all a part of it.
The bell rang in the mornings when the city was still half asleep, and two men chose on their own to put their bodies through the steady, unforgiving trials that build legends. During that camp, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez were lost deep in those rituals, each team a world of its own. Crawford's preparation looked like a focused transformation, moving up in weight to meet Canelo at super middle. He rebuilt his body with a careful gain that was not just about adding size, but about keeping the slippery speed and precision that had kept him unbeaten. His trainers adjusted strength and nutrition, so the extra pounds carried his power instead of slowing him down. His sparring came against bigger men, and his conditioning was tailored to sustain the movement that let him pick shots and vanish. On the other side, Canelo's camp unfolded like a masterclass in measured intensity. He put in the obvious work with pads, mitts, and long rounds on the bag, but he also mixed in unconventional drills that reflected a career built on hard-earned instincts. He kicked a soccer ball to keep his feet quick and his vision sharp, alternating technical drills with bursts that reminded everyone he was still an elite athlete at 168 pounds. Both camps released teasers, and the narrative wrote itself. The compact, ring-schooled sharpshooter against the seasoned championship frame. But beneath the clips and the hype, the day-to-day grind looked unervingly similar for both fighters. Size and history blurred the clean story. Canelo carried weight, championship experience, and the aura of a man who had weathered every storm. Crawford carried an unbeaten record, ring intelligence, and a hunger to chase a risky victory that could place him among the greats. Come fight night, it would not be the videos or the weigh-in numbers that mattered. It would be the preparation turned into moments, the split-second decisions, the iron lungs, and the courage to take and to give. For all the build-up, that was where the fight would truly be won. Meanwhile, boxing icon Roy Jones Jr. shared his bold prediction before the fight. Much of the conversation had centered on the weight difference, with Crawford moving up significantly. But Jones Jr. believed Crawford had added muscle wisely and that it should not be a deciding factor. He explained, "Terence has been bulking up to the weight just like I did as a heavyweight. If he can deal with super middleweights and light heavyweights in training, he can deal with them in the fight. The weight should not even be an issue in an interview with the ring." Jones Jr. admitted that if money were on the line, he would bet on Crawford, stressing that the American had more ways to win than the Mexican superstar. If Canelo fights the absolute correct fight that he can fight, he does have a chance, and I think he could be victorious. If he doesn't, Crawford has 6 ways he can win it. My money would go with a guy who has 6 ways to win over a man who has won. That Jones Jr. doubled down on that sentiment during an appearance on All the Smoke, where he once again cast out on Canelo's hunger. He praised Crawford's determination to keep chasing greatness, but suggested that Canelo might no longer have the same drive, though he did not expand on why. Crawford entered the fight facing obstacles, moving up to a new weight class, shaking off ring rust, and navigating a stylistic challenge he could not simply overwhelm with dominance. It led some to question whether he had reached his physical peak. Canelo, meanwhile, was coming off a lackluster unanimous decision win over William Skull. A bout remembered more for offensive inactivity than action. While Skull deserved much of the blame for circling and avoiding exchanges, Canelo's inability to cut off the ring still raised concerns about his form and motivation late in his career. Questions about a fighter's abilities surface before nearly every career-defining night, and more often than not, they prove to be false leads. In truth, the very best often need to weather storms of doubt before proving their greatness once more. Former champion Jeff Horn also weighed in on the fight. He recalled losing his welterweight title to Crawford by 9th-round stoppage in 2018 and suggested Canelo would try to start fast and overwhelm Crawford early. But Horn also believed Bud could survive the storm, outthink Canelo, and take over the later rounds. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, Horn said, "It's either going to be a stoppage early for Canelo, just trying to batter Crawford because of the size difference, or Crawford outsmarts him and clips him and tires him out using his boxing skills, and potentially finishes Canelo later in the fight like he did with myself. He's got super accurate shots. If he weathers that storm early, he could certainly tire Canelo out and stop him late." Another respected voice, Andre Ward, brought his trademark sharp analysis. Ward, who worked as an analyst for Netflix's broadcast of the fight, noted one of Canelo's greatest strengths, his ring presence. Even when he's resting, he's coming forward looking as if he's in control. That drains opponents because they feel like they can never rest. Ward also observed, both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez are punch-boxers, not box-punchers. They can box, but that's not what they want to do. They want to inflict damage. When they do box, it's to rest, regroup, or set up their real attack. But in this fight, they both need to be boxer-punchers. They can't be reckless. Initially, Ward avoided making a firm prediction, but in an August 29th interview with Fight Hype, he made his stance clear. "I'm going with Terence Crawford. Big weight jump. A dangerous fight. But somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure out in there. It ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You've got to show me that you can beat him." Not everyone agreed. Ryan Garcia, speaking on the same day during an appearance on Cigar Talk, said he believed Crawford would land plenty of punches, but doubted they would have an effect. He expected Canelo to absorb the shots and ultimately prevail.
Bud's gonna do good. He's gonna do good, but I don't think he's gonna win. But I do see Bud getting a lot of punches off, being able to tag Canelo with some good shots, but they have no effect. That's the thing.
He has the best chin that I've ever seen.
And nothing moves his head.
In his final prediction, Ryan Garcia acknowledged that Crawford was a great fighter and one of the best of his era, but he believed Crawford might be biting off more than he could handle against Canelo.
One of the best. I just think that he's biting a little bit more than he could chew. But you never know. If anybody can do it, it could be Crawford. You know, I do see him when he fights. I'm like, damn, how do you beat this guy? You know, he could do it all. He could box. He bang.
Here's a cleaned up version of your passage, keeping a professional and narrative focus while trimming out the YouTube-style outro who once expected Canelo to come out on top. Ryan Garcia now seems to be shifting his stance, or at least recognizing that Canelo faces a far tougher challenge than he initially suggested. "My problem with Canelo is his intensity. He doesn't have the same intensity that he used to have, and I think that's going to be the biggest issue for me," Garcia said. Per an asterisk expose from DeJuan Bushine, Garcia continued, "Can he still counterpunch? Yes. Can he still be slick? Yes. But does he have the energy and intensity that he used to have when he was younger, or even when he fought Caleb Plant? To be honest, for me it's about whether he can find that second or third effort. That's the problem Canelo has. When Bivol gave him 3 extra movements and 3 extra shots, Canelo ended up doing strange offensive moves that put him out of position.